Hello, I am Dr. Piyush Sharma from Maharshi Arvind College of Pharmacy, Jaipur. For today's learning topic is active and passive learning and teaching practice inventories. In this topic, the learner will be able to differentiate between active and passive learning. Improvement in student retention percentage through learning strategies, implement of learning strategies for higher learning outcomes. The passive learning, we can see the various scenario. So let's see scenario 1, where a teacher is teaching in a classroom and students are sitting and hearing the lecture. The activity involved is here. The scenario 2, where student is reading book. Student read book before the lecture and after the lecture for gaining knowledge. Here the activity involved is read. The scenario 3, where student learn through the pictures. The activity involved is see. The scenario 4, where student watch the videos. The activity involved is see and hear. And the fifth one is the demonstration, where teacher gives demonstration and students see and hear whatever teacher is teaching. All these methods are called passive learning, in which students do not give any efforts to gain knowledge. Here, teacher is delivering all his lectures while student doing no efforts and just listening whatever is said by the teacher. So, dear colleagues, just think and write down about the question: which other teaching methods do you use in your classrooms for your students? So take a pause and write in your diary. Okay, let's play. You have written down, maybe some points may be shown on this slide. So now we see the active learning scenarios. The scenario 1, that is group discussion, where students discuss about any specific topic. Here the activity involved is say and write. The second scenario, where students give the presentation. They may give presentation in a group or maybe individual, where activity involved is say and write. Students study or gain knowledge through their role play, where they speak, they say and do and play act. The scenario where this is the simulation, where students learn through the simulation and they say and do. The next scenario, where students do practicals and in that case they speak and do the activity. These learning methodology gets higher learning outputs and called active learning, where the student role is very higher. Teacher act is just to play role as an facilitator. Here all the work done by the student. So if we discuss these in detail, then just see the learning pyramids that was given by Igor DEL. The learning pyramid tells that when we give the lecture, the retention of the case is just 5%, while in the case of reading, the retention is 10% of the delivered or studied material. The retention in case of audio visual is just 20%, while in case of demonstration it is 30%. All these methods are the passive learning methods. While if we go with the active learning methods, then with the discussion, the learning achievements and the retention is 50%, while with practice and doing, it means by the practical, the learning retention is 75%. And when students read and teach others, in that case the retention is 90%. So we can say with this active learning methodology, the retention is very higher as compared to passive teaching methodology. Now we can compare it with the Bloom's taxonomy, where Dr. Benjamin Bloom's also says that learning outcomes are lower order thinking and outcomes obtained by remembering, understanding, and applying the things, while the higher order outcomes can be obtained by analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So we can directly compare these learning pyramid and Bloom's taxonomy. In both the cases, the passive learning achievements and retention and learning outcomes are very low, while in the active learning methodology, the achievements, retention achievements, and learning outcomes are higher. So just compare the active and passive learning. In case of passive learning, students are not engaged much more, while in active learning, their role is bigger. The passive learning is teacher-centered learning, where teacher deliver and demonstrate, while in case of active learning, bigger role of student, that is student-centered learning. In case of passive learning, we used when new material is to be delivered or presented, while active learning used to enhance the knowledge of students. In passive learning, the knowledge retention is very low, means 5, 10, or maximum up to 30%, while in active learning, the learning retention is very high, means 90%. The lower order thinking skills achieved through the passive learning, while through the active learning, the higher order of thinking skills achieved. In passive learning, teachers take whole responsibility of students' learning and to give the knowledge, while in active learning, students are self-responsible and take the responsibilities of learning. In passive learning, teacher role is the commanding, while in active learning, the role of teacher is as facilitator. So these are the bigger difference or in passive versus active learning. So my dear colleagues, what's the need to do? We need to shift focus from teacher-centered passive learning to student-centered active learning for higher retention and higher learning outcomes. Thank you.